Hey there, idiots. Welcome back to Observe. First and foremost, before beginning into this video, I want to say thank you. There's a lot of new people here on the channel, and it's been really cool to be able to see everything happening. If you're new here and you're wondering what idiots means, I understand it is idiot from another dialect, but the quick story on that is I got that as a hate comment a long while ago, and I always try to find a way to be able to spin anything negative into a positive in some way if I can. And so I used that, and I looked at Urban Dictionary, and it said it's an antidote for idiocy, more or less. So I was like, well, why not use that? There's that part. Now, everybody kind of wanted me to be able to do this video on Britney Spears because she is possibly being more or less held captive in her own house and unable to use things like social media, electronics in general, drive anywhere, go anywhere, do anything legal or financial. And the reason for that is because she's in something known as a conservatorship, which if you don't know what that is, either one, you can Google it or you could settle for this. It's a court-ordered handing over of control of her legal and financial assets to somebody else because she's seen as unfit to oversee them herself. And that is either one, in conservatorships because of a mental disability, or two, because of a physical disability. Now, it's a little suspicious, the whole entire setup on this. She started off in showbiz at a very, very early age with like the baby fashion style things, and then continued from there. And at 16 years old, this conservatorship was set up, more or less granting sole control of her financial and legal assets to her father, and it has been maintained ever since. So there was a hearing recently as to the ability to have her father removed and maybe to have her out of that conservatorship, and as far as I understand what I was able to track down, it didn't go well. Not because she was seen as unfit, if this is my understanding, it was because everything hadn't been gathered up and presented correctly or something along those lines. Regardless, she's still in it. Now, the reason that I think it's a rough situation is because of her more recent videos that have been posted to social media that just feel overtly off, would be an excellent way of putting it. Anybody can watch them and just feel that something is wrong. Now, I'm going to look at these videos and see why that might be non-verbally, see if there's anything that anybody else is missing. Now, there's something that I want to make very clear. I am not here to read into numbers or read into dance symbols or anything like that, because that isn't what my expertise lie in. So I'm going to strictly focus on the normal strains of nonverbal communication, observing how her baseline over time has altered, which is sometimes an indicator of emotional trauma, stress, anxiety, so on and so forth. Let's go. Alright, so I spent so many hours combing through social media, watching Britney's stuff, trying to be able to establish where her nonverbal baseline is and kind of be able to pick out points of where I feel some variants have happened in her body language. So I went ahead and I compiled an entire list of these videos, and I'll be going through them. Most of these are pulled from her Instagram. Some of them are pulled from YouTube, but then more or less the issue that I ran into is that a lot of them have been taken down. The quality's not amazing on the video, so it's going to be hard to see some of these things, but I just wanted to go ahead and give you a fair heads up on that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here, and then we'll just watch it and go from there, okay? So this first video, just real quick here, is of her a while ago, back when she was more healthy, very early on in her career. This kind of helps us establish what a healthy-ish nonverbal baseline is going to be like for her. Now, to be very, very clear and very fair, Britney has been shown to have some mental conditions, not necessarily disabilities, and certainly not enough to warrant a conservatorship, in my opinion. These next few videos are going to be showing her and her progression of devolving more or less psychologically and non-verbally. So let's just watch all the way through and we'll just keep talking.
At first it's amazing, like the first year or two, you know, because I'm a celebrity, you know.
Okay, so while she's talking there's a lot of shaking her head no. There used to be a big push for it to be like, well, they're saying no with their head, so that means that they're saying no with their emotions, aka lying. But that's not necessarily completely true. There are a lot of complex thoughts happening, but there is the possibility in that point where she's shaking her head no that she doesn't think it's so amazing. Maybe. But I wouldn't actually stake anything on that myself, so you probably shouldn't either. And then with this, you can see that she communicates well with her eyebrows and kind of with her eyes and her smile and everything like that. It comes across as more natural, more relaxed. So this is kind of letting us know a little bit of a baseline, at least from her back then. So we have to keep watching to be able to establish one from now. This next little blip that it's going to cut to is to show kind of the mindset of her father specifically in relation to pushing Britney beyond limits. I don't get the sense that he is there to care for his daughter. It feels more so that he's there to get his daughter to perform as much as possible, to get as much financial off of it that he can. So let's go ahead and see just the emotions behind that, and then we'll just move on with the Britney stuff from there. This is more or less just to establish an emotional relationship between Britney and her father, James or Jamie.
So basically to get a handle on, you know, music video promo, any other commitments, photo shoot, and then we have the Vegas commitment, right? The third.
That's right.
There's a day she has her album and listening party, which I think is the day before.
But Jamie, you need to give us the days that she has the kids and needs to be home.
I'll take care of the kids, and she'll just come in wherever, because I'm gonna be the one to go stay with the kids.
What I need to get the job done, I need to get a couple of days, and I don't see them anytime soon, to finish the choreography on the props before we can actually teach it.
The 5th is our last full rehearsal day, right? So 5, 4, 2, right? She can work 2.
2 is Ellen.
That's right.
2 is her birthday. Is she gonna be okay working on her birthday?
Sure. What do you want her to play?
No, I mean, can she rehearse on her birthday?
She's gonna rehearse.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
So we need full day rehearsals for those 9 days. I mean, right?
Okay, so that's the team, but that's not so much specifically her and her conservatorship. That's more of just a nightmare of fame side of things. Britney has people in control of all facets of her life, and that's probably been extremely harmful to her psyche, understandably. But as you can see in that, the dad isn't trying to protect his daughter. He's more or less trying to enable the team to be able to push what they need to do, which is really unfortunate for Britney. And it's an unfortunate reality of a lot of people that are in her position. But that's just to establish the kind of relationship they have. So these videos that I'm going to be looking at now are a little older to be able to see where Britney's normal nonverbal communication baseline lies so that we can see how this plays out as time goes on. Let's go.
Here's to all the powerful women who make the world go round. If you want to rise, we all know you better work, bitch. I celebrate you.
All right, so during that, you can see that she's expressive in her face. Her head is moving naturally. She has a little bit of attitude with things. And all in all, while it does seem a little stilted because she's talking to a cell phone rather than to a person, it seems more natural, more relaxed, and more healthy, for lack of a better term. We'll just keep going. Okay, so on that one, that's just once again showing her facial expressions. They're more natural, more relaxed. You can see she looks tired in her eyes, but not insane. And that's foreshadowing. Let's keep watching.
Edward, look! No hands, no hands!
Okay, so it's just a little goofy, a little fun. Once again, if you pay attention to how her face is, it doesn't seem strained. It doesn't seem like she's in trouble. She just feels like she's goofing off. So this is really helping us establish where a baseline is, and that's important because it's gonna get weirder. Let's go.
Okay, so I've been in the kitchen slaving away for my children, making them the best ice cream sundae. Let's see if they like it. Boys, how do you like your ice cream sundae? Well, they're speechless.
In this, you can see that the nonverbal communication is constant across her face. She's using all of her face to communicate: her eyebrows, her forehead, her eyes, her nose, her smile. Everything is being used to be able to communicate, and this is a natural thing. That's how people's faces usually work. So that's good. That's once again a while ago, so this was more when she was in a little bit healthier of a mental state. As is this one. Let's watch.
Hi guys, what's up? I'm on the Ellen show today and I'm getting a little cuckoo. That's why I'm standing on this table. I have no idea why. Anyways, I'm excited. So, here.
So she's just goofing off again. Apparently this was a behavior that was more common in who Britney was and how she normally acted. I can see that across her social media. That was more of a trend, this goofier side, but it sounds very natural and it plays across her entire body. And this one you can see just relaxed, all cohesive. And this is partially due because she is very, very familiar with performing. She has been performing for a very long time, but this doesn't come across as a performance so much so as it does just her being her goofy self. Let's keep watching.
My favorite holiday shoes. Other favorite pair of holiday shoes. And now, my butterfly shoes.
All right, once again, same sort of situation. Everything's cohesive across her body. Let's keep watching.
Okay, so winter is coming and I need to get in my skinny jeans, so I'm going to be on the treadmill today for 20 minutes. And then after that, I'm going to do abs and focus on getting a six-pack. So, here I go.
All right, so that little blip there is a little bit later. She has her hair dyed brown. Now, there's some sayings of her dyeing her hair brown in certain instances, and I don't know that that's true or not. I wasn't able to track down that footage for her saying that or her writing that in anywhere. As far as her nonverbal communication of her face went, her micro expressions and her expressions, she just seemed natural doing her own thing, and that's what really came across on that. There was no signs of strain or stress, perhaps a little haphazard, just disheveled, I suppose I should say, in general, but all in all, nothing to be alarmed about. Now, this video is more recent, and this is going to be where things start getting more weird, and we'll focus on some parts here in just a moment.
Oh God, time, you made me feel sweet. And if I'm losing my mind.
All right, so that part, that whole little clip has some interesting things. As you can see here, she's kind of doing funsy, cutesy things, which is what she started doing more and more, are just her standing in front of a camera doing dances of sorts. And this is where a lot of people will start reading into gestures and things like that that I simply don't think actually exist to the degree that they believe they do. But here's some things that I see interestingly enough. So she'll be doing all this stuff, being fairly emotive and expressive. It feels just a little weird because it's like, what's really the point of this? And then it'll cut to some areas to where her face, something feels off. And it's largely because her eyes have a certain dead intensity to them that just doesn't line up. It's almost like they're extremely strained to hold back some emotion or another. Non-verbally speaking, she'll go through and she'll do some smiles and some expressions with the bottom half of her face while not emoting with the top half of her face, which is an indicator often of false emotion or non-verbal misalignment, as it's called. And then it gets to this part where she's doing one of those clips where she doesn't look happy, and then she glances to the side and flashes what could be seen as either a fear, anxiety, or stress expression. It could be a combination of all of those or one of those. Regardless, she's not happy in this situation, and it's for something that's off screen, and we don't know what. And that appears in the next video as well, so let's go ahead and watch.
Lose yours with me. You make me wanna melt like water in the pan. It's hard to keep my cool.
There was that dart again, once again, off to the side. What's going on over off to the side? And then you can see here, if you cover up the bottom half of her face, her eyes could have literally any expression to them, which means that there is nonverbal misalignment. The smile that she's having is a performance smile, not a genuine smile. Something's off here.
Knowing I'm your man, so let's spend some time wasting it away. Your love is like music. You went and changed the game.
So All the way around, just very odd. Even when she smiles, it doesn't reach her eyes. People are just curious as to like, what is this video for? What is she doing? Is it to show off her outfit? Maybe. It could be. That could be the reason behind it, but it doesn't communicate well. If she's just trying to communicate that she's fine and healthy, it's not coming across really, really well. Her body language is confirming that something is wrong, either within her own mind or with her situation. Let's keep watching.
To all my friends at the LGBTQ community, happy Pride Month. You guys bring so much heart, passion, and articulate everything you do. Because of you, I've had the best nights of my life. I love you so much it hurts. Happy Pride Month. Baby, be quiet!
Okay, so this one, it's just odd. She comes across as very intense. This is also speaking tonally. There's a lot of strain behind that. Tone is tone. It's a nonverbal action. It is indicated by the richness of tone. Pitch is also a part of that. And it can signify psychological states. So her tone on this is interesting. It's very forced. It's very intense. And you can see here at the end where she's wrapping up her very forceful, intense commendation here. At the very end, she actually flashes a genuine anger expression to being interrupted and then lashes out, but masks it fairly well with a goofy face afterwards. But that quick snap, that quick from whatever state she was in there for a second, be it extremely stressed as it came across to me, and then just snaps to anger that quickly to try to be masked right there afterwards, that is a sign of intense stress, which I do believe she's under at this point. And you can see in these videos and the video before it that her look all the way around has become more and more disheveled. Her hair seems to be less and less cared for. It's very odd. Now in these next couple videos, she's going to start doing a very obvious anxiety, high stress tell. I found 2 videos of it in 2 very different situations to be able to confirm that it's an anxiety or high stress tell rather than just an energetic kind of tell. So let's watch this.
Hi guys, I'm in my gym today, and yes, it is the gym that I burnt down. It's still not fixed yet, but I'm getting there. Anyhow, I'm gonna show you guys what I do to work out. It's really kind of hard because there's a lot of repetition on one muscle group. It's a lot like Pilates, but without the weights. And it gets hard because there's so much repetition. Anyhow.
All right. So if you notice what it is, it's a constant swaying from one foot to another. This is common in stress situations or anxiety situations, not necessarily all the time. Something that is very true about body language is that its interpretation is unique to the individual with some general commonalities throughout everyone. In this sort of situation, you get that kind of energetic feeling, maybe she's just ready to go work out sort of thing, which is what I decided to consider this as until it was proven otherwise. And then I came across this video, which all the way around seems off, and we'll talk about why in a second.
Okay, so a lot of my fans have been asking me a lot of questions during my comments. I listened, and so now I'm going to answer all of your questions. The first question that you mainly asked me is what my favorite song is. My favorite song is Toxic that I have done, and I have no idea what my favorite song in the whole world is. The second question is, a lot of you have asked me what's my favorite place to visit. My favorite place to visit is Hawaii and Turks and Caicos. Turks and Caicos is a little bit more jungly and more tropical. There's not that many people there. It's a small island, and it basically has the cleanest food, the most beautiful ocean. The spot is amazing, and it's my favorite place to visit. Okay, what's my favorite food is a chili hot dog. And then if I had 3 wishes, what would they be? For love, happiness, and a world supply of designer clothes. That's it.
So this is interesting all the way through. Once again, she has that sway, that overly nervous or stressed sway. The vibe that you get from her non-verbally all the way around is that she really doesn't want to be doing exactly what she's doing there. And what's really interesting to me is that she says these are some of the most common questions that I get asked by my fans. And then she lists off this random list of very random questions that I don't think anybody was really too interested in asking. This is not nonverbal. This is just something that I took in as I was doing my research on this. If you look through the comments of these videos, the only questions in all of her videos, especially the ones more recently here, are you okay? Is something wrong? What's going on? Something seems off. Nobody's asking like, where do you like to eat? What's your favorite song? Things like that. And if you look at her eyes during all of this, one, they seem frantic, almost scared perhaps, anxious to be sure, and they're shifting all over. She looks like she's being told, okay, go ahead and do this update, give this update to your fans. And whether this is her mental state causing this sort of nonverbal communication or her physical state where she's at, the people that she's around and has to be with that are causing this, it can't really be said. But it can be said that something is verifiably off with her nonverbal communication. You probably don't need an expert to tell you why, but I would like to be able to just offer you why it is that you might be feeling that way. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple videos that are more indicative of her emotional state, perhaps, and might have an ability for me to be able to read something as far as deception goes or anything like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This one is her talking about what seems to be star signs.
In my garden today, and at the moment I'm reading a book called Astrology, and it's basically about what the attraction is to other horoscopes. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm very keen on Aquariuses and also Leos, because they're very outspoken, they're very egotistical, they lead the pack, but kind of in a good way. I'm a Sagittarius, I'm very keen on freedom. I love freedom, I love independence. I don't like to be tied down. I like to travel, but yet I'm very insecure. So opposites attract. I also like Scorpios because they're very, very internal.
Okay, so during that part where she says that she likes freedom, that's the part that a lot of people focus on because that's a hot point in a conservatorship. Freedom is not a word that's usually associated to a conservatorship. So when she goes through and she says that, everything lines up non-verbally. It doesn't have any positive or negative spikes to be able to show any processing around that, extra processing that might mean deception, might mean that there's more to unpack. And the chances are is because she really does actually value freedom. This could be a cry for help in that she wants her freedom, she appreciates her freedom, but she's not having her freedom. After that, she does the one and only gesture in this entire video, which is to preen her hair. It's a preening gesture to where she goes and combs her fingers through her hair. That happens only once, and it's in this part where she's talking about her insecurity, and that actually lines up as well. For her, I believe that what she's saying about herself is true. Now, I can't read anything around that. There's nothing else that leaps out to me that says, well, she's just not getting that freedom, or she's lying about something, or she's hiding something, because what she's saying, she feels true in and of herself. That being said, let's talk for a moment about her physical state. Her hair's very disheveled. Her makeup is rather messy. It's said that she wore this dress because somebody told her in a previous video, if you need help, wear something red, so she wore a red dress. I don't know if that is true at all. I don't know how much to read into it, but her physical state lets you know that her mental state is at least stressed. Now, this next clip that we're going to look at is her explaining to her fans what's going on and reassuring them. Let's see if there's anything non-verbally that leaps out off the page from everything that we've established so far.
Hi guys, just checking in with all of you who are concerned about me. All is well. My family has been going through a lot of stress and anxiety lately, so I just needed time to deal. But don't worry, I'll be back very soon.
Okay, now that's interesting to me. She says all is well. That verbal phrasing isn't common with her as far as I could tell. She had a much more relaxed, less formal verbal pattern. All is well just sounds a little bit more scripted to me. This isn't nonverbal. This is absolutely just verbal, and it's absolutely just conjecture on my part. So take this part as you wish. Non-verbally speaking, everything else lines up. The only other thing that sticks out to me is when she says all is well, there's a longer hesitation after that than there is anywhere else in the video. And this could be an indicator of masking some other emotion in that situation. However, other than that, it's been really difficult to establish what's going on, non-verbally speaking, in and of itself. Perhaps in the future, if something else surfaces from that, especially from that hearing, I'll do another video on this to be able to hopefully establish something of what's going on, and we'll just go from there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a good long list of these to be able to work with now, not the least of which is Amber Heard, and so you might be able to expect to see those in the future. Yeah, I think that's all that I'm going to be able to talk about for today. If you're watching this and you're really concerned about Britney, I don't feel that your concern is ungrounded. Something is off. Something is very off. Something seems extremely wrong. And whether that's her own mental state or the usage of drugs, both prescribed and not, or because of this conservatorship, it's hard to say, but something is wrong, so we'll have to see what happens with the rest of the story. But, like I said, that's all that I've got for the day. My name is Logan, and you have been oh so awesome, as you always are. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.